My Lords, back in 2000, when I was first elected to the London Assembly, the then Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, appointed me to the Metropolitan Police Authority under the chairmanship of the Noble Lord Harris. And at that point, this case of Daniel Morgan was a 13-year-old scandal. And now it's a 35-year-old scandal. And still no one has been arrested or charged, whatever. And so we really ought to, if only in Daniel Morgan's memory, actually try to create a situation where the police can be more respected. Now, I wanted to mention the vetting procedures because obviously you need to vet new recruits extremely carefully and carry on vetting during the lifetime of police officers. But there's also, of course, the whole training issue. You have to train officers to be responsible and to be honest and to have a duty of candour, which was under the recommendations. And lastly, there has to be zero tolerance of the sort of misogyny, sexism, racism that we've seen repetitively over the past few years. And one final point, I don't trust the current commissioner to achieve these things, and so the faster we get a new commissioner, the better.
My Lords, I think I've touched on the new commissioner and that appointment. I expect to be very soon indeed. On the point of the duty of candour, as the Noble Lady might have heard me say, last year we introduced a duty of cooperation, which is very strict in its application and can result in sanction or indeed sacking for those who don't abide by it. In terms of vetting, I mean, vetting has come up in every single instance that I have stood up talking about the Metropolitan Police over the last few months. In terms of the number, there was back in 2018 a backlog of 16,000 people waiting to be vetted. That number is now 671. So in terms of the throughput, that is an encouraging figure. We have 40 files were reviewed then by the Inspectorate to see if the checks recommended by the College of Policing's vetting authorised professional practice had been completed, and they had in every single case. Noble Lord Paddock has talked about people working in more sensitive posts, and I think I've given a response to that. But in terms, I've talked also about the ongoing work commissioned by the Home Secretary and the work by Dame Eilish and Baroness Casey, which touches upon the points that the Noble Lady talked about. But I don't think it's to take away from the point that vetting comes up time and time again, and it's clearly an area that needs to be investigated and addressed.